If you recall, late 2015, early 2016, there was some hubbub around these knockoff fursuits from a company in China. They are still online on sites like DHGate and Alibaba, Chinese mass production factories and distributors. Great places to go if you need 500 fidget spinners or 5,000 knockoff iPhone cases, or one really sad looking fursuit. They're coming for your fursona, and there's basically nothing you can do to stop them. Today we are going to explore how copyright works for furries. Everything from your artwork, your con photos, your costume, and even your fursona. Why exactly are these small Chinese companies stealing our designs? How can they get away with it? And why they're probably not going to stop. Flaunting infringing fake fursuits is culturally I know when I think of furries, I obviously think of the exciting world of copyright law. Don't you? No? It's just me then. Our challenge today is to try to make this discussion on copyright as interesting as possible, so strap in! Welcome to the Internet of Creation. From DeviantArt to YouTube, consumers can quickly, cheaply, and easily become creators themselves. When you make an original thing like a poem or a piece of art, you transform yourself into the mighty copyright owner. You hold the right to make money off of it or just post it to Tumblr for the hearts and shares. If you're working for a company as a creator, they technically own the copyright since they were paying you to create it. Likewise, if someone commissions you as a work for hire, they may take the copyright with them after the piece is done. It's all about what each party agrees to in advance through contracts and other agreements. Sometimes you have to prove that you were the first person to make that original creation to a judge or a lawyer, and that can be very difficult. Things you can copyright are things that are fixed in a tangible medium of expression. Basically, it has to exist. You can't really copyright an idea that you haven't written down or brought into the world in one way or another. So maybe draft that patent idea before telling all of your frenemies. Most laws around the world specifically include written works like poems, scripts, books, even computer programs and video games fall into this category. Musical composition and lyrics are here too, though separate from their performances. Performances like dance, choreography, music, theater are all owned by the performers, which is why you'll get a copyright notice if you try to upload that sweet solo from the concert you were at last night. A particular performance by itself isn't copyrighted as it is, but if someone recorded it and fixed it to a repeatable, tangible medium, like a video, the performers would own copyright over that recording of their work. This extends to film, TV, and YouTube, which is why I would appreciate it if Facebook doesn't steal my content on their platform, but it's okay if I'm the one who uploads it. You, however, cannot copyright stuff such as things that occur in nature, like natural animals. So you probably can't claim that you own gray wolves, even if your gray wolf has one blue eye and one green eye. You also can't claim facts like news or science or abstract ideas like magic. Unless it violates something that is protected by copyright, you can probably publish that story about a wizard school in England, so long as there's nothing directly from other existing copyrighted works. We need to talk briefly about a wishy-washy term that only really truly comes up directly in court cases. It's when it's okay to adapt or use a piece of existing media. It's called fair use. Fair use is mostly to protect critics, people who make reviews who need to provide a sample of what they're reviewing. Fair use also protects people who want to parody something. It protects student works and other things that are deemed non-commercial, meaning no one's really making any money off of it. Fair use is something you see thrown a lot here on YouTube, with movie reviewers getting in trouble for using clips from a film's trailer when discussing it, and if you recall, there was lots of kickback from the creator community over YouTube's demonetization or copyright flagging of those videos. According to an IO9 article, most fan art is non-commercial and therefore is considered fair use. You can keep drawing all of that Rule 34 art so long as you aren't making a significant profit from it. The article even cites a court case where a fan fiction was adapted to novel, drawing the line between posting it online for anyone to read and printing a large quantity of books to profit from. If the fan work critiques or parodies the original work, then it's usually safe to use and sell. These are transformative works that alter the expression, meaning, or message of the original content by highlighting aspects of it. So a retelling of Zootopia from, say, Weaselton's perspective is more transformative than just ripping it off directly. The kinds of memes and GIFs that I use on my channel and other channels that use them freely are usually not a significant part of the whole final product to warrant anyone submitting a notice or even Google's AI patrol bots to flag. Even pornographic versions of works are usually protected as transformative pieces. For furries, and more specifically fursuiters, we need to talk about character copyright. Let's look at Simba. Simba isn't owned by Lion King's writers or artists. Instead, he's trademarked and the character is owned by Disney, who paid those writers as works for hire. Fan works are rarely targeted for copyright. Most big companies feel it's against their best interest in their relationship with their audience to go after fan works. And hey, so long as it's just on an internet artboard and not selling millions of t-shirts, who cares? Only if you're making money and selling it like on a t-shirt or as an iPhone case will you be more likely to get that cease and desist and potentially ending up in court. The fan art you buy at conventions or commission artists are usually too small scale for big companies to worry about. They're much more concerned about the bigger loss of potential money. Most of these examples are pretty blurry and exist in a legal gray area that can change substantially country to country or state to state. In the US, you don't have to register your copyright, though you have to register it for it to be recognized by a federal court. This was a very, very brief rundown of an oversimplified copyright system. There are more in-depth videos of this topic online, including an entire crash course series all about it. I've linked to it in the description. I should also make sure to tell you that nothing in this video is anything close to resembling legal advice, and if you have questions about copyright or concerns that someone is violating your copyright, speak to a real lawyer who specializes in copyright. Furries are placed in an especially unique area for copyright. Characters can be made with lots of different collaborators. Someone might start with a description, reinterpreted in a reference sheet made by someone else, and someone else interprets the reference sheet for a commissioned piece of artwork and changes it again, and a fursuit maker could use all of those images and description to design a costume based on it. So one character could have many creators. Costumes and pieces of clothing are not in and of themselves copyrightable. The design of a character can be trademarked, though. This process can be long and expensive and only protects you in the nation you are registering the trademark. Patch Packrat on Flayra talked about how a costume rental company he worked with had a 20% rule for making similar costumes. If the costume or character is at least 20% different from the original, it should be legally safe. So is this fursuit at least 20% different from the original? Yeah, I would say so. It's ugly as sin, and they're still stealing the photograph, but that's technically their green husky. Or fox, or whatever it is. So really, DHGate can make as many of these costumes as they want. It's their use of photography that's a violation of the photographer's copyright. The use of these designs are less enforceable as original creations. Here's why nothing will probably happen. Adjective Species had this article on fursuit photography. It summarizes that the copyright is owned by the photographer unless the fursuiter paid them. With cosplay, something has come up about the use of these images, the use for publicity, wherein the subject, the cosplayer or fursuiter, can use their image to promote themselves, or more accurately, post it on online profiles. China, on the books, has copyright agreements like any other country, and is signed onto the same international agreements like the Berne Convention of 1886. The Berne Convention was one of the first international agreements for copyright. It was largely talked over during heated debates over English authors having their works published in the United States without permission or royalties being paid. The Berne Convention is essentially asking signing nations to treat foreign artists and writers as if they were a citizen of their own country. But without a crack international legal team and a lot of money, these conventions are more or less unenforceable. There have been many other copyright laws drafted in the UN and amongst larger international communities, but they're mostly just gestures to hold companies accountable for paying their creators for their work. It only really works for companies who exist in multiple countries like publishing houses or record labels. These laws struggle to protect individual independent creators who might not be able to afford costly registrations or legal fees. What we're dealing with here is a small-scale Chinese production facility, likely family-run and based out of a small town or city with a lot of industrial equipment at their disposal. China has no interest in telling their small businesses to stop producing knockoff Spider-Man toys, so why should they care if they're stealing someone's internet avatar or convention photography? Essentially what I'm saying is that no one in China cares if they didn't get permission to use a photograph or even of your character without permission. Certainly DHGate and Alibaba don't care. All they've done in the years since posting these photos was blur out some of the watermarks. Others still blatantly have the watermarks posted all over the photos. I really wish I had a great ending for this episode, but I can only really shrug. China's got our Fursonas, and unless you're a copyright lawyer living in China, they probably won't let them go. If your character is being used for one of these designs, you can try to send a cease and desist, but like most of those, it will probably go unaddressed. And likewise, they're probably going to keep doing this, and more stores like this are probably going to spring up offering very cheap fursuits or blow-up dolls with your face on it. So all we can really do is have a big sigh together and move on with our lives. It really sucks that our photos and our characters are being stolen. We can take some solace in the fact that these fursuits are so butt ugly that they probably won't sell very many of them. I think we're on the cusp of a big international shift on how copyright works. The internet makes everything accessible, and our technology makes it all editable. Remix culture is already huge. You can look at Everything is Terrible or Simpson Wave. But again, I'm not really sure if this shift will help us or change this situation. We're stuck here having photography, artwork, and original characters reinterpreted through a Chinese industrial sewing machine. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments what you think of internet and international copyright, or how fair use might play into fursuits and fursuit photography. Am I wrong in thinking that this is more or less a lost cause? Is there something furries can come together and agree on to take action when something like this happens again? Let us know down in the comments, and Rusty will respond to some of them in the next Effed Up date. Also, a reminder that we have a brand new Patreon page with all new rewards. Check it out at patreon.com/culturallyeft if you want some custom artwork by Underbite, your character here on episode thumbnails, or if you want Rusty to say anything you want Rusty to say. I have been your host, RK. This video is copyright Culturally Eft 2017, and thanks for watching.
Oh, it's Master Rusty here to say your tiger claws no match for my bunny hawk. Ding the bell down below to start the match and also get notifications every time we post a video. If you like what we do, please help support us on Patreon with monthly donations, or if you'd rather not, you can get a one-time t-shirt purchase with these buttons down here. In order to get your black belt in furry, make sure you're subscribed and you tag some friends you think might like these videos. And as always, thanks for watching. I've been Master Sensei Rusty. I will see you in our next battle. Thank you for watching. No, please don't.